Gotti was in the streets for real in Memphis, bro. Like, I ain't saying it because I'm saying to him. I just keep it real. If he wasn't a street nigga, I'd say he ain't in the street. He was in the streets, bro. Like, you don't see Gotti. You in the city. The mall, I used to see Gotti in the mall, like the hood mall, like super hood, like down there, like you ain't shopping, you just came here to walk around. Like, literally. Big ass chains on, 100 with him, chopper Glocks, all that. But, he cooled down a lot, bro. Like, Gotti was worse than me, probably, when he came in.
Well, I feel like, man, whatever you do wrong must come back around in a circle. Just like you know what I'm talking about? If you did wrong and everybody know it's blatant, the truth is out in the open. You sent that type of energy towards the Young Dolph way, and you got Young Dolph knocked off. I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder.
Hey man, y'all rich tell them bitches what it is, bro. 510 shit, y'all fly niggas, CMG shit, y'all rich niggas.
What's the first thing you plan to do?
Go hug my son.
Mr. Govan, you haven't smiled all this week, but obviously you have a lot to smile about. Just tell me what you're feeling in right now.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to explain the feeling of getting your life back,
It looks like CMG is crumbling right before our eyes, and the streets can feel it. For years, people whispered about cracks in Yo Gotti's empire, but those whispers just exploded into alarms that can't be ignored. Stan G, one of the most plugged-in voices in Memphis, sat down with No Jumper and said what everybody else was too scared to even whisper: Yo Gotti might be plotting against his own artist, Black Youngsta. And this isn't coming from random trolls online. This is from somebody who's been face-to-face with the streets, talking to the very same people tied to Young Dolph's murder case. So when Stan G speaks, it ain't just gossip, it's a straight-up warning. On that interview, he didn't hold anything back. He flat out said the exact energy Gotti used to target Young Dolph is what ended up getting Dolph killed. And if Gotti could go that far with a rival, what makes anybody think he wouldn't turn around and do the same to somebody in his own crew if they became a problem?
I put out a story, the other day I put out a story, Young Mob had ended up catching a Rico, you know what I'm talking about, and I put out a story. An hour later, the news ran the same story.
Stan G went even deeper. He basically painted Black Youngsta as the send-off, the one Gotti pushed to handle the reckless moves, the wild beefs, the over-the-top videos, the type of stuff other rappers wouldn't dare touch. At first, that chaos kept CMG buzzing and in the spotlight. But now, with Dolph's case still heavy in the air, Stan G said that role makes Youngsta look less like an asset and way more like a ticking time bomb. And in Gotti's world, ticking time bombs don't last long. Fans caught it instantly. This wasn't just some random story from the past. This was a reality check playing out in real time. Stan G wasn't just talking, he was sounding an alarm. His message was crystal clear: watch your back. He even reminded everyone that in this game, whatever you put out into the world always comes back around. And with the way Yo Gotti moves right now, Black Youngsta's so-called loyalty could end up being the very thing that puts him in danger. For a long stretch, CMG looked untouchable. Yo Gotti had the dream roster, Moneybagg Yo was stacking hit after hit, Black Youngsta had the label buzzing with his wild stunts, and then Glorilla came in and blew up overnight. From the outside, it looked like one big family eating together, supporting each other, no cracks in sight. But lately, that picture doesn't line up anymore. Moneybagg's buzz has cooled off heavy. Black Youngsta ain't bringing the same fire he once did. And Gotti? He's pouring all his focus into Glorilla, who's under crazy pressure because right now she's basically the only one keeping the CMG brand alive. Instead of family goals, it feels more like a survival game. Who's really safe in Gotti's empire?
Hell, at this point, because you lost all the his last artist is Glorilla. She doing crazy because he putting a crazy bag behind Glorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So Glorilla, she gonna shine regardless right now. But when he go over there and dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere he go to, like the Fed watching it. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy over here. That boy end up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right.
Then came the red flag, Youngsta quietly taking CMG out of his bio. He started dropping captions that felt like subliminals, like low-key shots at the camp. Not long after that, Stan G came forward with his warning, and that's when things stopped being funny. It wasn't trolling anymore, it felt serious. Fans are seeing it too. CMG doesn't look solid the way it used to. Every post feels suspicious, every move looks shady, and that loyalty they used to brag about, it's starting to sound empty. To really get why things are so tense between Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, you gotta rewind back to Young Dolph, because that's where the storm first started. Years ago, Gotti wanted to sign Dolph, but Dolph turned him down cold. From that moment, it was no longer business. It became personal. Gotti didn't just move on. He started putting up roadblocks, trying to stall Dolph's career at every turn, but instead of slowing him down, it only made Dolph shine harder, and the beef went from whispers to all-out war. That's when it turned ugly, diss tracks flying, public shots being thrown, and real street tension bubbling underneath it all. And who was right there in the middle of it? Black Youngsta. He wasn't just dropping tracks, he was pulling up in neighborhoods, filming wild videos, and doing things that most rappers would never dare touch.
The only reason I didn't do it, like I could have went over there and got what got it and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up. But at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it. So it wouldn't have made sense for me. You see what I'm saying? And man, it's like, that's Memphis, bro. That town is too small. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, if anything, if he wanted to do something, I wanted to do something, bro, it's like, let's do it. That town is small. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to hear that.
It's just Memphis one of them cities like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you pay attention, it always been a artist at the city center. I'm the king of Memphis. I'm the king of Memphis. That's why it done been so hard for other artists to pop out and take off, because everybody want to be that I. The big one is just me.
At the time, people brushed it off as part of his image, but looking back now, it was reckless beyond measure. Even Stan G called it federal moves because Youngsta was putting himself in spots that could only bring heat on his own head. So when Dolph was tragically killed in Memphis, the first place everyone looked was CMG. Nothing was ever proven against Gotti or Youngsta, but the streets had already drawn their conclusion. And once your name gets tied to something that heavy, it never leaves. That's the dark cloud still hanging over CMG today. And it's exactly why Youngsta doesn't look like an asset anymore. He looks like a constant reminder of a past scandal that the label just can't shake off. There was a time when Youngsta was CMG's wild card, the energy booster, the chaos machine, the one clowning online, flashing stacks of cash and keeping the label buzzing. Whenever Gotti needed the spotlight turned up, Youngsta was ready. Fans saw him as the loyal soldier, the artist who would ride for the team through anything.
Hey man, young rich tell them bitch what it is, bro. Wild fan shit, young fly nigga, look, CMG shit, young rich nigga, every count shit. Nah, I would never f them broke ass back shit. When I was broke, why would I f them now they broke? It ain't my fault you broke. You were playing on me. I'm telling my mom. Ooh, I'm pregnant. Ooh, my shoe just fell out. Ooh, my head just fell out. Ooh.
But Stan G didn't see any of that as loyalty. Not at all. In his eyes, Black Youngsta wasn't standing tall for CMG. He was being used like a pawn. Stan flat out called him one of the biggest send-offs in Memphis, basically saying Gotti was sending Youngsta to handle the risky, messy moves that he himself didn't want to touch. And when you think about it, it lines up too perfectly. Gotti always played the calm, calculated boss role, while Youngsta was the one out here wilding on camera, turning every beef into a spectacle.
For a long time, see, it's a long story behind Black Youngsta. See, Black Youngsta was hanging with one of Gotti enemies before he got with Gotti. Okay. So Black Youngsta is somebody who just jump around for the money. He's just a send out. He one of the biggest send outs from Memphis. They just keep.
But here's the catch. That role doesn't last forever. After Dolph's death, those antics stopped looking funny and started looking flat out dangerous. Instead of being CMG's spark, Youngsta turned into the one dragging all the baggage. Every diss, every graveyard stunt, every reckless move, people tied it right back to him. Now, he's gone quiet. Stan G even claimed Youngsta is in hide mode, ducking the spotlight because the Dolph case is still heavy in the streets. And let's be real, in Gotti's world, that silence makes him look finished. To the streets, he looks done. And to Gotti, he looks like a liability, the type who could bring heat down at the absolute worst time. And that's where the cracks start showing loud and clear. Black Youngsta has gone viral more than once for taking CMG out of his bio and claiming he's independent. Every time it happens, fans start speculating like crazy. Usually he crawls back into the fold with Gotti and nothing changes. But this time, it feels different. Right after all the tension and with Stan G's warning echoing, Youngsta started posting long rants. And these weren't just random words. He was firing shots, calling out fake CEOs, fake big homies, fake brothers, titles people have thrown at Yo Gotti for years. He even said he was done with fake love, fake loyalty, and putting trust in the wrong people.
I hate it like that, cause bro, it's like, what if you so gangster, why the f you rapping? Why you ain't out there killing? You need to go do some murders, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're a killer, go kill some shit. You out here on this stage for, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it like, so many people want to be rappers, and so many people I ain't no rapper, I'm a street. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much bullshit. So I had to wonder to myself, like, what the f matter? You know what I'm saying? All these people be lying like, they this and they did. But what? I had to really think like, what am I? I'm not a rapper. I like rapping, but I'm telling my side, but I really like entertaining people.
If that ain't a direct shot at Gotti, then what is? What really stood out in those posts was just how emotional they were. Black Youngsta wasn't flexing like usual. He was pouring his heart out, talking about losing friends, being left alone, and admitting that no matter how much money he had, he could still be touched at any time. That doesn't sound like somebody clowning around. That sounds like a man who knows danger is sitting right at his doorstep. And the timing? Way too perfect to brush off. Fans were already whispering that CMG was cracking from the inside, and here comes Youngsta basically confirming the smoke without ever saying Gotti's name directly. Everybody caught the message instantly. And here's the twist. Yo Gotti has always styled himself as a mob boss. His whole name is built off John Gotti, and he leans heavy into that image. So when Youngsta fired off about fake CEOs, Gotti didn't ignore it. He clapped back in his own way, sliding mafia-coded bars over Jay-Z's Dynasty intro. It was his way of flexing, reminding everybody who's really calling the shots.
You come well regarded. I mean, Sean Jay-Z Carter speaks very highly of you, right? I mean, Steve Stout speaks very highly of you. You know, I can't find a person that says anything bad about Yo Gotti, and they always say how smart you are, how focused you are, and a lot to get into about your business personality.
But here's where it gets scary. In a mob-style structure, breaking rank isn't just disrespect, it's betrayal. And betrayal doesn't end clean. If you know, you know. That's why people are saying the real fracture between Black Youngsta and Yo Gotti hit its breaking point after Young Dolph's murder. That's when tension went from whispers to something everybody could see. Because after Dolph was killed in Memphis, the streets were already pointing fingers at CMG. Gotti's own brother, Big Jook, even got picked up and questioned by police. And more recently, the alleged trigger man, Govan Hernandez, just got acquitted. And in case you missed it, the video of that moment had everybody talking.
The jury found the defendant, Hernandez Govan, not guilty in count 2 of the indictment.
It was said more than once as the 45-year-old was acquitted on both counts. Govan was unable to contain his excitement as he embraced his pro bono defense attorneys, but out of view were the supporters of Young Dolph who were hoping Lady Justice would tip in their...
The last thing Gotti needed was someone from his own camp trolling about it. But that's exactly what Black Youngsta did. He went viral for dropping a video at a gravesite, standing next to a headstone with Dolph's last name on it. And he didn't stop there. He kept posting reckless content online like he couldn't care less about the fallout. For Black Youngsta, all that wild behavior probably felt like him just being himself, reckless, loyal to CMG, ready to ride no matter what. But to Yo Gotti, it wasn't loyalty anymore. It was straight up bad for business. Fans noticed the shift too. What once looked like dedication started looking like reckless moves that could sink the whole label. From that point on, the cracks between them couldn't be hidden anymore. And like I said earlier, CMG doesn't look nearly as strong as it once did. Moneybagg Yo's buzz has slowed down heavy. 42 Doug is tangled up in legal trouble, and Youngsta's gone completely silent. Even Stan G pointed out that Gotti can't move the same way he used to. There's too much heat on him after Dolph's death. The only one still holding real weight is Glorilla. But let's be real, one artist alone can't keep an entire empire afloat, and the fans see it. Now, instead of asking who's next to blow up, people are asking who's next to fall out. That's where the fear for Youngsta gets real, because let's not forget, Gotti isn't just another rapper, he's connected. Stan G made it clear. Gotti has ties in high places. If he decides someone's career is over, it's done. If he wants legal smoke for somebody, that can happen too. So when Youngsta throws shade online, it's not just rebellion, it's risky business. In Gotti's world, being labeled a liability doesn't just mean losing your slot on CMG. It could mean losing everything. And let's be honest, if Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta really go to war, this won't stay just music beef. This could get ugly, fast. Gotti moves like the president of Memphis. Money, influence, connections that stretch way beyond the studio. If it gets violent, it won't just be rappers trading diss tracks. It'll be families, friends, and whole crews getting dragged into the crossfire. But at the same time, Black Youngsta ain't the type to just roll over either. And this is where things start looking even darker, because Youngsta's silence and those cryptic posts don't come out of nowhere. People close to the Memphis scene have said for a while that the tension inside CMG has been boiling, but now it's spilling into the open. What makes it worse is that Black Youngsta knows too much. He's been right there in the middle of every feud, every street move, every headline tied to Yo Gotti. That history makes him dangerous, not just to the label's image, but to Gotti himself. Think about it. When the Dolph situation went down, who was the loudest face on CMG pushing the beef? It wasn't Gotti, it wasn't Moneybagg, it was Youngsta. He was front and center, reckless and unapologetic, putting the spotlight exactly where Gotti probably didn't want it. And now, years later, the same energy that once kept CMG buzzing is the very thing making him look like dead weight. The streets don't forget either. Fans still bring up those old videos of Youngsta pulling stunts at graveyards, flashing stacks, and talking crazy in neighborhoods. To some, it looked like he was proving loyalty. But to others, it looked like he was digging his own grave. And with Dolph's case still fresh in everybody's minds, that connection just won't go away. Every time Youngsta's name pops up, people instantly link it back to the darkest chapter in CMG's story. That's why Stan G's warning hit so hard. He wasn't just talking about beef between two rappers, he was talking about survival. In his words, Gotti's empire moves like a machine. And once a piece of that machine becomes a problem, it gets replaced fast. And if the rumors are true, Youngsta isn't just replaceable, he's disposable. Fans are split right now. Some say Youngsta brought it on himself by being too reckless. Others think he's being cut off after years of blind loyalty. But one thing's clear. Whatever's happening inside CMG, it's no longer just whispers. The cracks are right there in the open and the fallout could be massive. He's reckless, emotional, and not afraid to say exactly what's on his mind. And that makes Black Youngsta unpredictable. But here's the thing. Unpredictability mixed with Yo Gotti's boss-style moves, that's a recipe for pure disaster. Fans are already nervous, bracing themselves because nobody wants to see another tragedy play out like what happened with Young Dolph. But now with Youngsta openly calling out fake CEOs and Stan G literally warning that Gotti could turn on him, the writing on the wall is too loud to ignore. This isn't just rap beef anymore, this is survival talk. If they don't fix this fast, CMG risks losing way more than just one artist. It could lose its entire legacy. The empire that once looked unstoppable is showing cracks everywhere, and the one thing everybody's asking is simple. How far will Yo Gotti really go to keep control? Because if Stan G is right, then Black Youngsta might not just be dealing with industry politics, he could be standing on the edge of something way darker than music beef. So now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Gotti is really plotting against his own artist? Or is Youngsta spiraling out on his own? Drop your thoughts down below because this is a situation the streets are watching closely and it's far from over. And before you head out, make sure you hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to Mick Whispers for the latest and messiest celebrity drama. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'll catch you on the next one. And don't forget, click on the next video you see on the screen for even more wild stories straight from the world of fame and chaos.